Hello, everyone. Welcome to NLP and Coronavirus Day 13. Wow, that's been doing this for nearly 2 weeks since I got back from Hawaii, and we'd already done about 5 or 6 before I even got back. So this is we must be coming into almost week 3 of doing these programs. So thank you for joining us again. And thank you for all your great feedback via the comments and also your personal messages saying how useful you're finding these daily Facebook lives, and what a difference it's making to you. So for those of you who were with me last week, you'll recognize the person sat next to me. It's James Mallison, my partner in Fix My Mind, and he was with me last week when we covered a specific havening technique, which was event havening. Which was a technique for releasing particularly anxiety and fear and panic from events in the past. And, so many of you absolutely loved it and thought like, wow, that is such a brilliant technique, that I did say, okay, we're going to get James back again. So here he is. And what we're going to be, James is going to be sharing with you today is another havening technique. Another go-to treatment in Fix My Mind, which has got 2 steps to it, 2 parts to it: transpirational havening and outcome havening. So how these are specifically different is, whereas the previous Facebook Live was for use with events in the past, these techniques are for use when you're feeling something like anxiety or fear or panic in the moment. So a little bit of a difference there. So James, welcome to our daily lives once again.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean the feedback from the previous one was absolutely superb. So I know we've got a number of people already lined up wanting to watch this. I mentioned it last night that you were going to be here, so we should get some good viewing figures. So James, tell us about these 2 different techniques for tonight.
So outcome havening and transpirational havening are just continuations on a theme. So if a client that I'm working with has negative emotions around, say, for example, presenting or more generalized anxiety, transpirational havening is just astonishing. It's essentially still built on the principles of havening. So going back to the point we were saying in the first session we did last week, and for those of you that didn't see it, havening is a psychosensory therapy that essentially involves you stroking your arms and hands gently down your arms, very gentle way, at a speed of 1 a second, to give our bodies a hit of dopamine, of serotonin and oxytocin. By doing it gently and at a speed of about 1 a second, you allow a delta wave in our brains that is naturally occurring just to become more present, and the combination of all of those work together in an incredibly powerful way. So the actual application of havening touch is the constant throughout all havening forms. When someone's working on a negative emotion, say for example anxiety, and I even did this earlier on today. I was in the supermarket. There was a queue that went round for 100 meters. The atmosphere in the supermarket was just weird. I felt anxious in the supermarket. I did a version of what I'm about to show you in the supermarket. If someone feels anxious, you can literally just start stroking your arms, and you would say the word anxious in your head. You don't say it out aloud, because if you start doing that in public, you'll just look like a total weirdo and get carted off.
Or get
do not say
this yourself.
Do not say it out aloud, but say the word anxious repeatedly in your mind. And what will happen over a period of about 2 to 20 seconds, which sounds astonishing to say it out aloud, the intensity of the negative emotion, the level of anxiety, will come down. It just will. And the reason it will is because, separate to the havening touch, a process called effect labeling kicks in. And you can look at studies of effect labeling. And it basically shows that the more we repeat a word that relates to a negative emotion, the less we can hold on to that emotion. It's something that Tony Robbins talked about in Unlimited Power, rather,
Right.
3 decades ago. But now the science shows why. And between 2 and 20 seconds, the emotion will come down off its peak. It will allow you to reach a level of calm. Now, once that level of calm's reached, you then change the havening word, the word that you're saying in your head, to being the emotion that you want to feel more of. So if the anxieties come down, you might then start introducing the notion of calm,
Right.
calm, or safe, or in control, or free. And you repeat that word. Now, the key here is the tone that you use.
Right.
If you say, calm, 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 you are not going to make yourself be calm. You're going to wind yourself up. It's like if I'm saying to my 6-year-old son, Luca, calm down. He's not hearing calm down. He's hearing me shout at him. So the tone that you say this in is really important. Now, clearly, if you need to feel in control and you use a tonality which is in control, it will be as bad as saying calm in an aggressive way.
Right.
It needs to sound a tonality of control. And that is totally key. Now, the second an emotion comes up, you do this. What I recommend to clients is that, and this is the process I use, is first thing in the morning, anytime during the day that I need to, and last thing at night. It's literally checking in. How am I? How am I feeling?
Right.
Because once you start obviously repeating it, if habits are created through repetition and reward, then by doing it at a minimum of those 3 times a day, and you're literally asking for someone to commit to 2 to 3 minutes a time,
Right.
then you can start to create new neural pathways being much more efficient. So you can just start doing this much easier. It's really important to do. Now, when I was in the supermarket earlier, I felt a little anxious. I think one of the great things about being a therapist is that you have a bunch of tools with which to make sure that you can manage one's emotional state. That doesn't mean that we don't feel the emotion. Obviously, we
No,
do.
absolutely not.
But we've got a bunch of tools with which to be able to manage. So if you're in public and it would be inappropriate to stroke your arms, which let's face it, is going to be pretty much everywhere,
Yeah.
then all I did was just hold onto the trolley and imagined myself havening.
Right.
And just imagined myself doing that nice and calmly and gently. And in my head just said anxious, anxious, anxious. And then after a few seconds, switched it to calm, calm, calm. And then I was good to go and then carried on. So always reduce the negative first and then introduce the positive. Now, the reason you do it in that order is because if you imagine just going straight to calm, you're putting calm on a shaky foundation of anxiety.
Give you a gap.
Yeah. So by stabilizing the calm, you can then stabilizing the anxiety, you can then put on calm, which is going to be far more beneficial.
Right.
So always reduce the negative and then put the positive. You're essentially looking for opposites.
Yeah.
Now, I say to clients, and I'm going to say here, the only emotion I'm particularly prescriptive on here is sadness, because people will often go, well, the opposite of sad is happy.
Right.
But the opposite of sad is for most people not happy. You might not want to be, nor may it be appropriate for you to be happy about the thing that you're sad about.
Yeah.
So it might be sad, 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 accepting, accepting, accepting.
Right.
Or peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. It is unlikely to be happy, because if someone has had something terrible happen to them or someone they know, you don't want to feel happy about that.
No.
You might want to function. You might want to be calm. You might want to be okay.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Like that. That's a good one. And I was going to ask you about just imagining in it. And presumably this is, I mean, I know there are some people that really rave about this, or other people who find it a little bit controversial. But the imagining in it is around the mirror neurons, presumably.
I don't necessarily, it could be about the mirror neurons. It's more, it goes back to that principle of that the brain doesn't differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. Mirror neurons work more either on a screen basis because we're picking up from one another, or on a face-to-face basis. It goes back to the fact the unconscious the conscious doesn't differentiate between
Yeah.
what's imagined. It's why cinema is so amazing, right? I'm telling you this. You tell thousands of people this, but it's why athletes and visualization works for athletes, because the brain starts to not be able to differentiate. And the latest science on visualization shows that as long as the visualization, and this is key, has to be hyper specific, hyper specific, both from a physiological and psychological perspective, because the brain starts going, this is how it's supposed to be. So that's why the imagining aspect of doing that is very powerful. It's why cinema works. So as long as you imagine doing it, and you actually give yourself some time to do it. If you just literally were to stand in there in a supermarket and go, yeah, you know what, look around quickly, and I'm just going to imagine doing this for 3 seconds and say anxious, 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 it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
You've got to commit to doing it.
It's got to be at the same speed as if you were doing it physically.
Yes. Yeah. And the intention has to be that I am here to just give myself a Band-Aid, feel better emotionally, whatever terminology you want to use, but your intention is that I'm here to do something to help me feel better. Right. And then you do it. The intention is key.
Okay. So shall we do one then, like we did last time, so that people actually get to see the whole thing in action?
Sure. So is there an emotion right now that you've got with what's going on?
I do.
If you don't, that's fine, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not feeling it at the moment, but every now and again, I get a twinge of like where I probably describe it as scared rather than fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you just close your eyes for me, David, just quickly.
Yep.
And just go inside and see, can you find the scared?
Yeah.
Okay. And where in your body can you find it?
In my solar plexus.
Okay. And if that had, and this is for the NLPers out there, if that had a color, what color is it?
Red.
Red. Is it hot or cold?
It would be, actually, it would be cold.
Right. It's funny, isn't it? A lot of people will straight away think red is going to be hot, but it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
And is it light or heavy?
It's quite heavy.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do, David, is if you just cross your hands over to your shoulders and just be in touch with that.
Or just here?
No, if you just, as if you're about to start havening. So, okay. And what I want you to do is just be aware of that feeling, and through your nose, take a very big, deep breath in and then hold it. Hold the breath. Hold the breath.
Hold it.
Okay, so take it in and hold it. Now turn your head to your past or to your left-hand side if it's not all the way around you. So just move your head to your left. And when I say go, I just want you to breathe that feeling out just in a nice, relaxed, for you, it would be a hard breath on 3, 2, 1, go. Just start doing that now. Start havening your arms. Just bring your head around this way again. Open your eyes. Look at me. Open your eyes. And I just want you to say scared.
Scared. Scared. Scared. Scared.
And when you feel ready, which I think is probably about, then how do you, so stop saying the words, keep stroking your arms. How do you want to feel instead?
Powerful.
Powerful, right. So whether in your head or out aloud in a moment, I'm going to ask you to say the word powerful, but for you, power is exemplified by what color?
Like a silvery blue.
Right. And is it a hot or a cold feeling when you're powerful?
Neither really. It's just like room temperature.
Right. Okay. Is it light or heavy?
Light.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do is just say the word powerful in your head or out loud, whichever you're most comfortable with. And maybe just actually with your intensity of your arms, just maybe stroke your arms a little more powerfully. So it's still gentle, but
okay.
Power in it.
Powerful. Powerful. powerful, powerful,
Really commit to it.
powerful, 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 powerful.
And which feels better, I am powerful or just the word powerful?
Just the word, actually.
Right. Okay.
Or let me give it a go. I
Yeah.
am powerful. No, just powerful for me.
Okay. Fine. So with you, and now just say it in your head, and just in your head, say it to the level and the volume that you need to hear it. That's it. Imagine those colors and that temperature and the location in your body. And just imagine that going up and down all around as you just keep repeating the word powerful. And just relax your hands when you're ready. Sit up nice and straight. How are you feeling?
Good.
Okay. Now, as you hold on to that feeling of feeling powerful now, see if you can get back that scared feeling.
No. I also noticed that obviously this isn't something that you're meant to do from an NLP perspective, but I just noticed that my eye patterns had changed because
Go on.
they went from visual remembered to visual construct.
Right. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just
And to
noticed
think
that.
that you weren't sold on havening for a long time.
Oh, mate, I know. I gave you such a hard time about it.
You did.
Yeah. I said, it's just fucking pattern interrupts. And
maybe it is, but there's all the other stuff as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there is an element of pattern interrupts in it. There's got to be. And, we checked it out with the NeuroSky, the EKG.
Yep.
And when you do that touch, you notice the delta waves in the brain go off the scale.
Yeah. And you noticed when you were combining it with being in peripheral vision and heart breathing,
Yeah.
You just noticed so much other stuff going on as well, didn't you?
Yeah, because what I did was we got the NeuroSky, which is the EEG, not EKG, EEG, and then also the heart math unit that is a ECG, but also checks for brain heart coherence. And when I did the Havening touch and Hakalao peripheral vision and heart breathing, then like literally they say it will take you weeks to learn how to go into a coherent state between the brain and brain and heart. There we go. There's me messed up. Then went straight into that state immediately. And there's two kind of like dials, which is one is attention, and the other is relaxation. And what they have is that when you've got high attention, you'll have low relaxation. And when you've got high relaxation, you'll have low attention. And peripheral vision, or Hakalao as it's known in Huna, is a state of heightened attention whilst being calm, balanced, and centered. So I thought, then if that theory, which I'd only had that as a theory before, although I had it experientially, if that was actually true, then by doing that, I'd be able to get 100% attention and 100% relaxation at the same time. And it worked.
And how did that feel like?
Well, I mean, me, I'm a bit of a geek. I'm a bit of a techie. I love my gadgets. But then to be able to actually, take this thing that I've been talking about for at least 27 years and then measure it electronically, that was a a further kind of like a convincer for me.
Yeah.
That there's something more going on than just pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually, you can then see from that there are absolute real neurological changes that take place as soon as he starts doing the havening process, as soon as somebody goes into peripheral vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, just brilliant stuff. Yeah. So James.
And it's great to do when you go to sleep as well, you know, when you're wrapping the day up. As I say, I do this when I'm going to bed and recommend clients do it also, you know, just to take personal inventory before you go to bed. By the way, there isn't a negative emotion there. You don't need to go scrabbling around trying to make yourself feel terrible. If there is some anxiety, and let's face it, now isn't a time where a lot of people are anxious.
Yeah.
Then when I'm in bed, I just imagine doing this, because otherwise my wife will just literally nudge me under the covers and go, will you fucking stop it?
I can imagine.
So, you know her.
I do.
Then I just imagine doing this. And if I feel stressed, to stay stressed. And by the way, don't get hung up on linguistic niceties about this. If you're feeling pissed off about something, then stay pissed off.
Yeah.
If you're fucking furious, do fucking furious. Don't get hung up on it. But then once that's gone, then when I'm in bed and I do this, and I used to have insomnia, and I close my eyes, I go into peripheral vision even with my eyes closed.
Yep.
I do some heart breathing and I just say dozy or sleepy.
Right.
And just imagine doing that. And I literally go to sleep within 2 to 3 minutes. And it's astonishing. And it's what I show my clients who have insomnia. And I saw a report yesterday that said that everyone right now is tired and wired because people are suffering from a significant amount of a lack of sleep. So these two variants on havening are really strong. And I use them. I have all of my clients use them. And I would strongly, and hopefully those of you that are watching and have really got some benefit from havening, will use these two subtle variations of havening to help you as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of questions about insomnia, actually, and I said that you would more than likely mention that when you came on next time. The other one that I do as well as you know, like sleepy or whatever it may be, is you know, sometimes you know, you're really, really tired, you get into bed, and then, you know, you lie down and you kind of like make this kind of almost like a sound. It's like a release, you know. Mine's kind of like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
So actually doing the havening touch and having that sound in your head, which is the sound that you make when you know that you're gonna have a really good night's sleep. I found that a nice extra piece as well.
I think it goes possibly to the point that you've mentioned before when we've been chatting about the vagal nerve, and this will be going into way too much detail now, but the humming aspect that often exists within havening, and what you're saying there, that vocal release via a sound or heart breathing or whatever it is, can also be incredibly healing. I hate using that word. It makes you sound like a certain kind of therapist. I am not that person, but yes, sound can be healing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, this is another thing I checked with the heart math and the neuro sky. I thought, I wonder what will happen if I go into peripheral vision and chant an Hawaiian chant rather than just heart breathing. And again, it was like boom, in an instant, the whole thing changed. It was like a switch.
Amazing.
Flipped.
Yeah.
So great.
It's amazing. You know, they say that this will be the century of biology, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, no, great new things coming out, and learning so many new things about, well, sometimes I think it might be relearning so many things about us that, you know, we're already known, and then they kind of got lost somewhere along the way, and they're now coming back. It's almost like we went from the age of, you know, mysticism, if you like, to then being through the age of science and everything was analytical and it got to be proven and all that, those kind of things, thanks to Newton. And now we're going into like the more kind of like the quantum physics age. And, a lot of, quantum physics is basically now kind of saying the same things as the mystics from thousands of years said. So it's kind of like we've come full circle.
Yeah.
Which again is exciting. So but it's like a spiral rather than a circle. We're spiraling up. It seems like we're in the same place, but we're not. We're at a higher level. So it's cool stuff. Fantastic.
And next time, you and I are going to chat next week as well about internal talk as well. So that'll be how we change what we talk about and say in our heads, which can either make us vulnerable or it can make us resilient. And we'll cover that piece next week as well.
Great stuff, because I just had a client contact me whose mother's not well, and she's using all the stuff that she knows, and she says, and every now and again I keep dropping into this negative thinking.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what the technique you're going to share next week is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And
how do we
again that I share with everyone.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Thanks, David.
Brilliant. Have a great weekend, James.
You too. Happy Easter.
Thanks everyone for joining me. Please put your thumbs up in the comments below. Any questions, then please ask any questions of me, of James. And as I always say, wherever you are in the world, love you lots, and ahui ho. See you.